Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you're a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. The last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Sagittarius, we're going to start with overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. But let's first start with your side of this connection to the person you're dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. This is Sagittarius' side of this connection. Euphoria. You have follow your heart with shattered. Okay. It felt like euphoria, but then it ended in this kind of shattered energy here. I feel like this connection, you saw it as something that had the potential to be something really great, and I feel like there were times where it felt really great with the euphoria card, but then something happened. I don't know what happened, but the expectations, the hope, it shattered here. And I feel like with this follow your heart card, it's been difficult for you to do that because I feel like you felt like you were following your heart, but then it led to this, which is definitely going to have you, second guessing things. So let's try to bring forth some clarity in this connection. This person's energy toward you, Sagittarius. Solitude, separation, then there's this unfinished business card, but I kind of feel like pulling one more. I feel like, okay, with this solitude card, I feel like this person is more comfortable with, because there's ego. I said I knew. I wanted to pull one more, and there it is. This person is more comfortable when, oh my gosh, you know what's so interesting here? Oh my God, yeah, look at all of these. Look at all three of these cards. It's all like a shadow of like a person. I don't think any of the other cards are that. Like, I think they're all, yeah, the rest of them are like actual pictures. That's really interesting. I feel like we're going to come back to that. Anyway, I do feel like this person is more comfortable when they are at a distance from others. It feels like something that they really struggle with is, letting people in. And I feel like that coming from that place is eventually what led to the separation here. I feel like their ego got in the way. Now, and I talk about this a lot on this channel, but our ego is not to be demonized. Its primary goal is survival. So it makes decisions from a place of trying to keep us alive. And a lot of times it does that by making decisions from, making decisions that align with what it knows it can survive. So if we crave genuine connection, but we're not comfortable with that depth because we've never actually really experienced genuine connection, and then it comes around, we're going to sabotage it. We're going to push it away. We're going to, put ourselves back in that position of being alone or being isolated from others. I do feel like there's more to this energy, but I do definitely feel like this ego card is really important because I feel like it gives like a more of an understanding of why things happened the way that they did here. All right, truth of this connection between Sagittarius and this person. Codependency triggered and quality time. So I feel like this goes a lot deeper than just the connection itself. I feel like this connection, it started really good, right? With this kind of euphoria energy. But then as time went on, it feels like each person kind of triggered the other, like triggering each other's shadows or triggering each other's deeper wounds here. Shadows. Now we all have a shadow side. It's the unhealed, unhealthy version of us. It's the version of us that is very wounded and that makes decisions from a place of wounding. We all have a shadow and we all have a light. We all have the potential to be the best version of ourselves or the worst version of ourselves. And, sometimes we're the worst version of ourselves or the not so great version of ourselves when we have wounding being triggered and things of that nature. And sometimes we meet people that really pull that version of us out. And I'm not saying that like you were the worst version of yourself in this connection, but I do feel like a lot of those wounds were really triggered and brought to the surface through this. So I feel like that wasn't just happening for you, but that was happening on both sides here. So a pretty deep purpose for this connection and what it's trying to bring to the surface for you. I feel like we're about to get pretty deep. The last few readings I've done have been insanely deep. Overall theme of this reading for Sagittarius. It's like you triggered each other's like deepest insecurities, deepest wounding. Overall theme of this reading. For Sagittarius. The feelings are mutual. Okay, I feel like that's important here. Because I don't feel like this person didn't have feelings for you. Or doesn't have feelings for you, depending on your situation. Miscommunication. It's like here, like the perfect storm almost. It's like these two energies were built to really trigger the other person. And I do feel like there's a reasoning for that. So the feelings are mutual. And I think that that's what's hard about relationships sometimes is, sometimes we can know that people love us and that people care about us, but then the way that they act, especially if someone's pushing us away or creating distance or sabotaging or whatever, like betrayal or whatever, it doesn't always mean that they just don't care about us or don't love us or, don't want to be in our lives. It often means that they don't have the ability to make healthy choices in relationships because of their own insecurities. And so that doesn't obviously like excuse certain behavior, because at some point our trauma is our responsibility, our triggers are our responsibility and should not be the burden of another person. But I do think that when we start to see things from that perspective and understand that people make decisions because, not because of us, but because of where they're at, then it really helps us on our healing journey. So you also have allow for time and space, and then this some people never change card. So I feel like there is a need for kind of like some distance here, maybe even emotionally too, to help you really see things from a clearer perspective. But I feel like there's a lot more to this story, so let's see what we've got here. Sagittarius' side of this connection shattered with euphoria. Three of Swords with the Empress. The Strength in reverse. Four of Cups. The Chariot. Oh my goodness. The World in reverse. So this connection is representing something a lot deeper. Okay. It's obvious that this has been incredibly painful for you. And I don't even just see that because of the Three of Swords. I feel like I can feel it in the energy. Like I can feel the heaviness in the energy. I can feel what it is you've been carrying here. And I feel like it's hard because especially when we just can't seem to understand other people's decisions and why they do the things that they do, or a lot of times like why we weren't enough or good enough for them to make healthy decisions, like why they didn't see our value enough for them to choose us well, or to finally value us, or to treat us well, or to not leave, or whatever the case is. And I think that that's why it's important to understand that other people do things because of where they're at, not because of who we are. And I feel like right now there's a need to kind of shift your perspective about what is really going on here, because this connection isn't a reflection of what you deserve or what's possible for you in love. Like this is not the end all be all for you. This is not the the truth that you are just not meant to experience love in the way that you deserve. If you do want to experience love in the way that you deserve, that absolutely is possible. But there's something that this connection is bringing to the surface to help you heal kind of some deeper things, so that you can allow that love into your life. Because I feel like like I said, there's a lot of mirroring here. And I feel like this person it's like insecurities triggering insecurities. And this is where it's kind of like the perfect storm. And I feel like those insecurities have been almost like super brought to the surface and like highlighted, which is making you really doubt like yourself and your worth and whether or not you're going to be able to have the love that you deserve and desire. And that's intentional, because I feel like this connection is trying to pull a lot of that stuff out of you to help you heal. I do think that there's more to this than just like what this person did. I do feel like there's a deeper purpose for this, and I feel like Spirit's trying to draw that to you to help you see things from that perspective. Because with this Empress energy, I feel like you really showed up in a really caring, loving, compassionate way. Now, I'm not saying that you were perfect or that you didn't make any mistakes, but I do feel like you really you showed up for this in the best way that you know how. And at the end of the day, I do feel like you kind of got screwed over here. And that heartbreak goes really deep, because when we show up as our best self and we pour ourselves into someone and then it still seems to not be enough, of course we're going to start to second guess our worth. We're going to look within and we're going to say, why wasn't I enough when I was giving everything I had? And if I'm not enough when I'm giving everything I had, then that must mean that I'm not enough at all. And that just absolutely isn't true. So I feel like there is like a different perspective here that Spirit's trying to bring forth, because our relationships with other people are always opportunities to open ourselves up for deeper healing. And I see that with the Star Universe. I feel like there is some deeper healing that this is trying to lead you into, so that you can have the love that you deserve and desire. But let's see what else we've got here. Because I feel like, it's like in the beginning, you thought this was going to be one thing, and then it turned out to be something very, very different and very, very difficult. And I think that now you're trying to navigate this and figure out, how to move forward. This person's energy toward you, Sagittarius. Separation with solitude. Yeah, see, there's the Five of Cups. It's like this person is in grief and sadness about this. Like, I don't feel like they're, yeah, because there's the Ten of Cups. They saw this connection as their Ten of Cups. They saw it as something that had a significant amount of, they sabotaged. They self-sabotaged here. Knight of Wands in reverse. People don't make decisions based on our value. They make decisions based on how valuable they believe that they are. And I think that when we're able to see things from that perspective, it helps us understand that when other people don't treat us well, or when they sabotage or betray or abandon or whatever the case is, it's not because they didn't see our value enough to do what's best for them, but because they didn't see their value to do what's best for them. And that's where it's kind of like, we start to look at how, other people's wounding or other people's capacity to love is a reflection of their own wounding and their lack of healing. And that is going to directly determine how well they're going to be able to love us or choose us or show up for us. But when we look at that as a reflection of like our own value, it's kind of silly, right? Because then we're taking somebody else's capacity to love personally when it doesn't really have anything to do with us. But of course, like when we're in the connection, it's it's more difficult to see things from that perspective. So I definitely feel like this person is, Five of Cups, Ten of Cups, Knight of Wands in reverse, Ten of Swords, the Hermit in reverse, and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse with the Eight of Cups. So somebody walked away from this. I don't know if it was you or them. I feel like either way, it wasn't your choice, whether they walked away or whether you felt you had to walk away because of their behavior. I feel like you wished that things were different. But from what I can see here, sorry, I've got dog hair in my eye. From what I can see here, I feel like this person saw a lot of value in this connection. I feel like they saw the potential. I feel like they saw you as someone that they wanted in their life long term. And that's where that euphoria feeling came from, because I feel like both of you were like, heck yeah, this is so good. This could be so good. And then the insecurities kicked in. And insecurity is something that never really goes away, but it is something that we can become aware of so that it doesn't make decisions for us. But when we're not aware of our insecurities and how they control us, we make decisions from a place of insecurity. So if we believe that we're not good enough or valuable enough for the love that we're experiencing or the love that we desire, we are going to sabotage it. We're going to push it away. We're going to do something to ruin that connection and that experience, not because we don't value the connection or the other person, but because we don't know how to believe that we're worthy and deserving of it enough to not do that. And I feel like that's what happened here. I feel like this person has a lack of healing that led them to making decisions that went against what their actual desires were. And that's the funny thing about humans, is that our actions don't always align with our desires, and our actions do not always reflect our true feelings. Our actions reflect our capacity. Our actions reflect our level of healing and consciousness. And that is where we have to understand somebody can love us all day long. They can love us. They can value us. But the way that they act is going to be a reflection of how much they've healed. It's like the same experience, or it's like the same thing as like somebody wanting to run a marathon, but like, and I've talked about this before, but like not doing any training for it. So they want to run a marathon and they want to place at this marathon, but they're not going to get off the couch and actually go practice and do the work. They're just going to show up on marathon day and they're going to try to make it work. They're going to fail. Because when we experience the love that we desire, but we don't believe that we're deserving of it, we are going to sabotage it. And that, I feel like, is what happened in this connection with this person. And then those insecurities and the way that they acted triggered your insecurities of feeling not good enough. When in reality, it's interesting because, you're sitting here feeling not good enough and they're looking at you as this 10 of Cups. So the way that they acted isn't because they didn't see your worth or see your value. It's because of their lack of healing. Now this is where we have to look at things a little bit differently, because how other people treat us, or what other people do, obviously isn't in our power and control, but it's always a reflection of something that, we're needing to address within ourselves. And I feel like this person specifically, brought a lot, or you brought a lot of insecurities to the surface for this person, just as much as they did for you. And I feel like that's why this connection has been so painful, is because it almost feels like the things that they did absolutely validated all of the ways that you felt unlovable and unworthy and not good enough. And that's why I feel like it's so incredibly important for you to understand that this person did the things that they did not because of you, but because of them. Now, on the flip side of that, there's a need to understand that this person is not your only chance at experiencing the love that you deserve and desire. And I think a lot of times when somebody makes us feel, so unlovable and unworthy, who validates those insecurities, a lot of times we can feel like them loving us or choosing us or valuing us or finally, being what it is that we want is going to give us everything that we ever asked for. And I see this a lot in the whole kind of like twin flame community and belief. I believe that I was dealing with a twin flame in the past too, so I'm certainly familiar with the feeling, but I also have learned that the connections that trigger us the most a lot of times aren't about the other person or about loving the other person or about the other person loving us, but ultimately about teaching us how to love ourselves. Because when somebody makes us feel unloved and unworthy, it's asking us to love ourselves and find ourselves more worthy despite other people, despite where other people are at. So I feel like this person has a lot of healing. I do feel like they're disappointed with how things are. Like, I feel like there's grief around where this connection is at, but I feel like they're coming from this wounded place. And hermit in reverse solitude, right? They're so withdrawn that, and I feel like they have these walls up. It's almost like they're not ready for the type of love that is possible in this connection. And that doesn't mean that you can't have it. It doesn't mean that this is your only, chance for it. But what it does mean is that you're looking for love in people, or specifically in this person, in someone who isn't capable of loving you well. And when we look for love in people who aren't capable of loving us well, there is always something going on there. Because a lot of times when we believe that we're unlovable and unworthy, we will actually seek out or be attracted to people who reflect that back at us, who make us feel unlovable and unworthy. Because our relationships with other people are a direct reflection of our relationships with ourselves. So I feel like the mirroring is opening you up to seeing some things that you're needing to see to help you heal and evolve, so that you can experience connections with people that know how to love you well. That's one of the coolest things that I've learned on this journey, is that the people who aren't capable or able or willing to love us well don't determine the extent to which we can be loved. They're showing us how to love ourselves more, so we can reflect or attract people that reflect our healing instead of our need for healing. Because when we are experiencing our own wounding, when we have our own wounding and beliefs of being unworthy and unloved, we too are going to be driven by those. And usually the people who are driven by those woundings tend to meet each other, right? That's where the reflection comes from. That's where kind of why we tend to be attracted to people that reflect that wounding, is because you reflect that wounding back at them too, but it's handled in two different ways. This person pushes away love from people who provide it to them. You look for it in people who don't. And so when that's the case, asking the question, where is this coming from and what is this stemming from? Because that can help us understand our relationships on a deeper level, heal the wound, so that it doesn't draw us into cycles where we're feeling re-wounded. Because I feel like that's kind of what happened here. It's like it's pulling like pain to the surface that I feel like has been there for a really long time, even just before this connection. So, interesting. We're going to hop on over to the extended quality time with Triggered. I'm going to dive deeper into this reading, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Thank you so much, Sagittarius, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Sagittarius.